It's time for AggroChat, the official podcast of the Tales of the Aggronaut blog and stalwart gaming community, where we talk about stuff and things, and the stuff about the things, and sometimes gaming. I'm Belghast, and let's start the show.
Hey folks, it's that time again. Time for another episode of AggroChat. This is episode 547. Tonight I'm joined by Ammo.
Hello.
Ashgar.
Hello.
Grace.
Hello.
Kodra.
Hi.
Tam.
Hello.
And Thalen.
Hey there.
So this topic was bumped for a couple weeks, but new champion has dropped in Destiny Rising, and it is a pirate queen that is Maori named Maru, and she's kind of amazing, and also is basically just an arguably better in every possible way Ikora.
Yep. It makes me a little sad, but also she's so awesome, I don't really care.
It's weird how you can give a character effectively the same kit, but it just works better. And I think it's that there's now an exotic single shot grenade launcher, and that goes a long way to making the single shot grenade launcher feel good. But
could Ikora use the same grenade launcher?
Ikora can use the same grenade launcher, yeah. But Ikora's second weapon is worse because Maru is grenade. So heavy grenade launcher and single shot grenade launcher. And that kind of solves the Ikora problem because Ikora has single shot. So single shot rocket launcher for heavy, single shot grenade launcher for primary. So there's nothing that you can like do burst damage with.
Yeah, Maru has that heavy grenade launcher that lets her fire a few at a time if necessary. Although the primary is so good that I end up leaning very heavily on that. And then when necessary, just spraying and praying, which is her ultimate.
Yeah, like that's the other piece that makes the difference between Maru and Ikora is Ikora has signature ability, and basically the two signature abilities are part of a 1-2 punch, and you're rarely ever going to use them separately. Like you're going to use them as a combo move. One of them sucks everything together. The other one nukes everything. Whereas,
so it really feels like she only has one ability.
Yeah, she really only has one ability. Yeah. So Maru has a far better kit. So the normal primary ability mostly is just like a really, really strong version of the grenade launcher. Like it fires a really strong grenade type ability, and you can fire off, I think, 2 at once. There's 2 charges that you can save up. And then the other one is like this bubble attack that like puts a version of the Titan bubble over her. And then when she fires, the bubble drops and it charges the blast with the energy of the bubble towards the target. So like it's a really good kit. And also like if things are getting a little too heavy, you can just pop your bubble for a second. And you know, it stays up for a little bit, but like usually long enough to let your overshield recharge. And then my only complaint is spraying and praying is the super attack. And like, it's fun, but it also doesn't last very long. Like it is a very short burst attack, and it doesn't feel like it does as much damage as a lot of the other supers do.
I don't know about that.
Like, compared to the Stella Super, like, it is not in the same league.
Yeah, Stella Super is a little overpowered. That's just a fire and forget laser beam, essentially, that lasts for a ridiculous amount of time.
Stupid amount of time, yeah. It's an independent minion that's essentially a tactical nuke. But, you know, like, cool character, like, really, really well designed, but more importantly, it serves like this niche that's been missing where we didn't really have a fun to play spread champion that could take out spread Shinkas and do the hard mode content that required that type of gameplay.
Yeah, especially like Master Grandmaster activities have these things called Shinkas, require very specific weapon types to disable their shields, and you were pretty much stuck with Wolf or Ikora to handle the spread Shinkas. And now we have someone super great instead.
And like Wolf is fine, but the problem is Wolf has a very generalist kit that's not necessarily good at anything, but can do a bunch of different things. But as a result, like the more difficult the content gets, the less useful that character became, where like just couldn't quite hang with the more specialized characters.
Yeah, really fun and excellent for doing the like base campaign and teaching you the game, but there are better options for almost everything now once you get to the end game. But yeah, and with Maru, we also just got a new season, so there's new cosmetics and a new battle pass and all of the things, bunch of stuff reset, and there's just tons of things to do again. There's also been a few events and with mixed success.
I hated the Festival of Lost a lot. I kind of dig the thing that's going on right now where we're getting drops out in the world and then farming requests from NPCs for like material.
Baking them into pies, apparently.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, we're filling orders, but like baked goods are apparently dropping out in the world.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, I think it's fun, particularly because you get most of the ingredients from doing the open world stuff. So it's an extra motivation to just spend some time running around, doing the public events, which are pretty decent way to spend your time anyway. Like they're starting to get a little samey now because we only have 2 zones, but they're still fun. Definitely looking forward to whatever point we actually get to leave Earth and have a new zone to run around and explore.
Yeah, I mean the new character seems like it's leading story-wise into that happening because they're searching for a ship because you can't really be a pirate captain without a ship.
Is that what they want, to be a pirate captain?
Well, they are a pirate captain. They just don't have a ship.
Yeah. I mean, Maru's ghost is called Parrot, and he definitely just refers to her as the captain, and she supposedly has a crew based on some of the lore stuff. But, just doesn't have a ship. And a ship capable of getting off planet in specific. Like,
eventually we'll leave orbit. It'll be great.
But yeah, that Destiny Rising continues to just shock me how fun it continues to be. I keep thinking, I'm going to get bored of this and wander off. I've definitely put more hours into this than I did in Destiny 2 at this point.
Yeah, I'm not there yet, but like I'm still playing a lot of it every week. But I also played a heck of a lot of Destiny 2. So, Kodra, tell us about Broom Sweeper.
All right, so I was at Geek Girl Con last week, and there's a whole bunch of indie devs in Seattle that are doing stuff. I know I talked about Tower Bolt, which it was a fun platformer, but the game I got to play on Sunday when I went back was Broom Sweeper, and now I'm kind of obsessed with this thing. It's currently, they're currently doing a playtest of it, but the pitch of it is this is a Minesweeper roguelike. So you start a run, and you're going to have a Minesweeper grid, and it's going to play like Minesweeper, where if you click on a tile that doesn't have a bomb, or in this game, a dust bunny in it, you're going to uncover something that tells you how many dust bunnies are around that tile. And then you can like plant little caution signs where you think there are dust bunnies. And you can keep cleaning until you have identified all of the places where there are these dangerous dust bunnies. Unlike Minesweeper, if you kick over a dust bunny, it just takes some of your hiring potential, HP, away from you. Yes, it's one of those games. But there's also like you're earning money every time you sweep a room, and like you're earning bonus money if you manage to do it without kicking over any dust bunnies. And then you're finding vending machines with items in them, and the items give you additional power. Like your initial sweep gets bigger, or you earn more money from certain things, or like you can increase your hiring potential. One of the tricks to this, though, is then, like, as you complete a room, you're going to add more dust bunnies that are going to show up in your future rooms. So your future rooms are going to have more and more dust bunnies in them. And then there's going to be hazards. And hazards are really where this game becomes fascinating, because, like, one of the hazards is just actually you can have more than one dust bunny in a single tile. So there can be multiple dust bunnies in a single tile, or there can be tiles that are lying to you, or there can be tiles that are covered in trash and you can't see what numbers underneath them. But then there are items to interact with those. Like the item I just recently got that was like, oh man, this item saves this run for me was it would highlight which tiles were lying to me. And so I could at least know, like, the problem with some tiles are lying is it makes it hard to trust anything. But when you at least know what tiles are lying, you can still do some logic. It is not like full release yet, but it is fascinating and it's really cool. And I'm just sort of like baffled that this game hadn't existed yet, but it's a good one. Like if you like Minesweeper, this is a good way to get back. Like I was clicking away at Minesweeper for years and not having it change itself on me and make me like sit down and think more deeply about it. And this game is letting me do that. Sometimes though, you get a build where it's like I click my first sweep and suddenly the entire tile is cleared. So it's got those fun elements.
Yeah, when you said the type of game, I am also surprised that this hasn't existed yet. It seems very obvious, especially considering we've gone through this sequence of every other kind of more traditional game in a roguelike format.
What, you didn't like Mahjong roguelike?
I mean, you found me a coin pusher roguelike, so...
Is there a Mahjong roguelike?
Yes, it's called El Tenjo.
Oh man, I should check that out.
It's very like Balatro.
Ah. Yeah, the other thing that this game does do is let you know what, like, also how many dust bunnies are in a room. So, like, there are also, I should also say, there's, like, different characters that you can unlock. The character I've been playing with has a feature where she has way more dust bunnies on a map, but I get clues outside the map to show me how many dust bunnies are in each row or column, to just, add an additional layer of thought process to how do I do this, solve these puzzles.
You're giving me Voltorb Flip vibes.
I have not played Voltorb Flip, but I'll say, like, for a game that is not fully out, I have been playing a lot and having a lot of fun with this.
Voltorb Flip was a mini game in the remakes of Gen 2, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, because there's no gambling in these games, because reasons, mostly EU reasons. So they replaced the entire game corner with this mini game. I spent a lot of time on this mini game.
Ah.
So I got pulled into a pen and paper group this week that's local, and we are playing a game system called Public Access. And I am not sure if any of you are familiar with that.
Oh man, I've read this.
Yeah, so it's real interesting. It is way more story first and LARP-ish than anything else. And like your character sheet doesn't have a lot on it. It's mostly a vehicle for unlocking your character's story and sharing it with the party. And, you know, you sharing moments is kind of the actions that you play to unravel the mystery. But essentially it's set in this town in New Mexico called Deep Lake, and all of you lived there at one point or another during your childhood but moved away, and you have all met up on an internet forum devoted to this public access station that existed in town that you only sort of remember but that disappeared at some point. And the town claims it burned down, but essentially the building just disappeared. And you're back spending the summer there trying to unravel some of the mysteries. And it's set in 2004, aka the pre-social media internet era, where forums and, you know, board systems were the majority of interactions. So yeah, like it's kind of interesting.
Okay.
We have a very Maniac Mansion like cast of characters.
Nice. I was saying this is very you. It's very Stranger Things, but like with adults instead of kids, right?
Yeah. So like I am a burnt out punk musician that's band didn't really make it and instead does handyman work to make ends meet. We've got someone that was a relatively successful baseball player, but something happened that we don't know of that they no longer are in there. We've got somebody that's like a super preppy lawyer. We've got someone that is a bookworm that is super into cryptids. So, like, it feels very much like the cast of Maniac Mansion.
You're like 80s movies, sci-fi horror adventure. Yeah.
That's basically how you, like, tell people about your characters. You pick up these moments that you're nostalgic about. And, you know, like, Artax in the Swamp of Sorrows is one of them.
Nice.
Wow. I remember the Babe is another one somebody chose. Headbanger's Ball was one of the ones I chose. But yeah, like it seems like it's going to be really interesting. There's going to be some initial growing pains between. There are several of us that are acting this as though we were the character, and there are some that are describing their actions, and I think we're going to end up going one way or the other. Because like right now it's kind of awkward where we're mostly like several of us are in very much first person all the time.
Yeah.
And there are the other people that are in third person all the time. But like we didn't, it was like 11 o'clock by the time we finished. So we didn't get super far into the first day, but we'll pick up whenever we do so. But it's really interesting. It's wildly different. It's way more improv than anything else. But like, I'm on board with it. We've got a good group of people to play with. They all seem to be very nice. Several of them I'm just meeting for the first time. So it will be interesting.
Cool.
Why are we having a 3-job fiesta?
So for anyone unaware, the 4-job fiesta site does off-season events year-round. And one that started today, as of the podcast recording date, is a quote-unquote 4-job fiesta for Seiken Densetsu 3, aka Trials of Mana, aka Secret of Mana 2, or whatever you'd like to call this game. I like this game very much, and this event supports the Trans Lifeline, and I would like to just make people aware that it exists. Also, the structure of this game means that getting your assigned class choices at the very start of the game is not that different than how you would normally play the game. So if you've never played it before, now's a great chance. I recommend the remake. The original is fine. I still recommend the remake. And this is one of my favorite games ever, so I am playing through it for this.
Cool.
I was assigned the thief, the spearwoman, and the werewolf. We'll see how it goes.
Well, good luck.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see how different this ends up feeling than a normal run.
I don't think it really will be.
At least not in the transformative nature of Job Fiesta.
Yeah, like the entire structure of this game is you have to pick 3 characters to play through with. Like, you don't get all 6 characters. So you have to pick 3 anyway, and you have to eventually pick their class progression anyway. So getting them assigned to you ahead of time is not that different.
Yeah. I don't remember how far I made it when I was playing the remake. Not super far, but I mean, a ways in.
When I was playing in 2020, I didn't get very far at all. I came back to it in, I think, 2022 and just basically binged it, beat it 3 times. I love this game.
What type of game is it? Just
It
like
is an action RPG, not to be confused with a Diablo-like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Sort of Zelda-like?
Not really even Zelda-like.
Yeah.
There's very little puzzling of any kind.
What is it actually called again?
Trials of Mana
Ah, yes. Okay.
is the localized English name.
Got it.
It was, at last check, very on sale on the Switch and not on sale anywhere. But if you are okay with the physical PS4 copy, those are usually pretty cheap.
The remake is quite good.
Okay, I'm curious where we're going with this one. Since it is the game that is presently whooping the new Call of Duty's butt at the moment.
That's a surprise to me.
So who has been playing ArcRaiders?
I've been playing ArcRaiders because it's impossible to avoid, and for professional reasons, I need to be conversant. And there are a lot of extraction shooters. Like a lot of them. And mostly they follow a very particular format. Let's take the source engine. We're going to do this on the cheap because open PvP is not a good way to have a large player base and throw a bunch of people into a map and try to get stuff and get them out. Distinct from Fortnite, which is not about that. It is about like fighting each other.
Surviving to the end.
Yeah. And it's interesting to me, like Fortnite is still immense and huge. And despite superficially looking very similar, these extraction shooters are just not. Like very, very, very different game. Because the ability for them to make you feel bad is way higher than in Fortnite. Like wildly.
In Fortnite, you just die. But in extraction shooter, you die and lose all your stuff.
Yeah. Well, and another component of extraction shooters is like it's a lot of inventory maintenance because you can only carry so much and you only want to carry the best things.
Yeah. And like, you know, I've dabbled in Rust and Tarkov and various other similar games because it's like, you know, I should at least know, you know, what's going on with them. And so it was very surprising to me to see a game that is wildly huge. That's this style of game. And, you know, everyone is talking about it. So, like...
ArcRaiders makes me immensely sad. Because, like, I've played quite a bit of the... Like, I haven't bought it, but I played quite a bit of the testing range or rounds. And there's some really interesting PvE combat elements going on there. And I wish they had stayed their original course and just made it a damn PvE looter shooter, and it would have made me so happy.
Yeah, like, this game, it's interesting because most of the time in extraction shooters, there is, like, some amount of PvE content, and it is extremely menial. Like, it is...
It is mechanically necessary, and it's exactly that.
Yeah,
but it's not interesting.
It's unbelievably low challenge. It is not trying to do anything. And the thing that ArcRaiders is doing that is different is it has amped up its PvE to be as scary or more than other players, sometimes by a significant margin. the idea being that, hey, if the world is threatening enough, then even if other players can be threatening, it's actually kind of a choice whether or not you just become a murder hobo.
Isn't this also kind of a thing in Hunt?
I don't know because I haven't played Hunt. The Hunt Showdown.
Yeah.
I'm not actually sure. I have not played that one.
Yeah, I think that one even has like bosses that exist in the world while you're doing the extraction stuff that are very, very difficult.
Yeah. And like I liken this game to playing Star Citizen. It's when it is firing on all cylinders, it's really, really fun. Like really, really fun. It's got the right level of tension. It's doing things. So the big thing is that it plays a lot with sound. You can hear things from a very long way away. Like a lot of times if you want to open a container in the world and get at what's inside, you have to like crowbar it open, and that's loud. And you make decisions about whether or not like that's a good idea at any given point. And like the more noise you make, the more likely their terrible robots are going to come after you.
Well, and kind of the really interesting mechanic that I thought was cool is you end up fighting a lot of seemingly low stakes robots, but they are the vanguard of far worse things.
Yes.
Like they report back, like it's an AI essentially, and they will dial in and say, oh, hey, these little gnat drone things have found a human. You should bring in bigger guns to kill the human. And now you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Is it like you have to kill the drones fast enough?
So the drones, like if you shoot them, they will try to find you. And if they find you, they'll start dialing in. And like you either have to kill, ideally you kill them fast enough. And if you don't kill them fast enough, they basically ping their location and something bigger heads that way, usually.
Or you take them out before they even know you're there.
Yeah.
Preferably.
Yeah, the ideal case is you get rid of them before they can register you. But like if they do register you, you'll like stuff will start coming down and it'll gradually escalate. And the robot AI is pretty good. Like it behaves in really interesting ways. They all move in really interesting ways.
And like each type of robot has predictable behavior and AI that is like correct for the role that they play effectively in the robo ecosystem.
Yeah. And it's really neat to see. Like I've run into a handful of them. There's the like little rolly exploding ones, which mostly roll at you and explode. And there's like little the ones that you see like right off the bat are like there's like a little flying camera bot that just like flies around doing little patrol sweeps for things. But there was a giant like walker bot that not only could just crawl over terrain in a way that I just couldn't. Like its ability to path over terrain naturally was terrifying because it would just like loom over me. Like I like ran behind some cover and it climbed over the cover at me. And I'm like, oh no, that's not good. But unlike the smaller ones, it was also smart enough that when I threw a noisemaker to like distract it, it was like, no, I saw you throw that. I'm not fooled at all. Like, and it to the point where it was even messaged in that I could see it turn and I saw its, like, as I threw the thing and it buzzed, I saw it like its light shined in the direction I threw it and then it popped back to me like, no. Because I was like panicking, so just threw something to try to get it away. But it was really interesting to see. And like, table stakes, it's an extraction shooter. There's other players, they're gonna kill you. It has a dramatically higher rate of me being able to be like, hey, I'm friendly, I'm not gonna shoot you, and having people be like, all right, cool, than any other one of these games I've played, but that's not a high bar. I mean, and like to the point where there's some like just unbelievably toxic behavior that I see where the way you get out is you get in an elevator and leave. And once you like hit the button in the elevator, it starts like a 3-second cooldown for you to get out. And I've seen people like start shooting me in that 3-second cooldown. And I'm like, what are you even doing? Like, they don't kill me, but it's just like, it's like sending a message that they're a terrible person for no reason. Because it's like, even if they killed me, it wouldn't get them anything. It's just like, I'm going to pump a few bullets into you for no reason. Again, it's an extraction shooter. It's kind of written on the tin what you're getting. But it's also interesting in a way that I don't find Tarkov all that interesting. There's challenges that have very little to do with other players, and the meta progression, the way that progression works is not the least bit or is very, very minorly dependent on actually getting out. Like actually successfully leaving a match with a full inventory gets you the stuff in your full inventory and a bit of bonus XP. You get bonus XP for doing that, but you mostly get XP for the act of opening things. The stuff that you actually do in the match gives you XP and progression, independent of whether or not you actually get out with anything, which is a stark difference from a lot of these. And I was like, the very first time I ran into my very first match, I was like on my way out and got killed by another player and lost everything that I wasn't carrying in my. They give you like one inventory slot that's secure storage that like no matter what happens, you will get that. But yeah, but I still leveled up. And then I went and talked to my chicken at base, which I still haven't quite figured out. You have like a pet chicken, and your pet chicken collects material, like crafting materials for you. You can level up this chicken to get presumably more and better crafting materials. I don't know why a chicken. I haven't the faintest idea. The game has not bothered to explain why I have a chicken.
Look, if a chicken can manage real estate, then a chicken can do anything.
It's fair. I have to tell you, that chicken is unbelievably better at this game than I am. Like at the end of every round, every time I play a match, the chicken also brings crafting materials back to me. Even on my best runs, that chicken brings back more stuff than I'm able to. It's random, but it's a lot. And they also soften the blow. And I find this to be a really interesting choice. All of your equipment is fungible. Again, sort of standard in this game. Like, don't get too attached to anything because if you die, it's gone. But nothing's like that expensive to make or that difficult to make anyway. So it's sort of like whatever. But they do give you, hey, do you not want to use your own resources to like equip yourself? Like, do you not want to use your own guns and ammo and bandages or whatever? You can use one of our free loadouts that just gives you a bunch of random stuff. It could be terrible stuff. It could be amazing stuff. It just gives you a generic loadout. And the only thing it doesn't give you if you select one of those is your, I really cannot remember what the game calls this. It's referred to as the butt pocket in a bunch of places. The like one inventory slot that you have where no matter whatever you put in there gets back with you. That slot is not available if you're using a free loadout and whatever. But there's a bunch of interesting tools. It's really interesting to me to see a game that's playing with sound as well as this one. I think the last game that I played that had this much thought and attention put into the sound component of like gameplay mechanics was like Splinter Cell, the multiplayer, where like different ways of moving sound different. Even individual guns have. I've played I think 3 matches, and I can already hear distinct audio differences between the different types of guns. And like, I'm not quite at the point where I could recognize a gun by what it sounds like when fired across the map, but like, I can see how you get there. But it's been an interesting experience jumping into like, a game that I would basically never play under normal circumstances, and seeing some of the stuff they do with it that's interesting. Letters from the other side, as it were.
I should try this. It's the challenge is like you do have to kind of accept that maybe your night's session ends really uncomfortably.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I sort of liken it to Star Citizen. Like, when I'm playing Star Citizen and it's firing on all cylinders, it's an absolutely transcendent game experience, and I love it. And sometimes I have my ship explode in the hangar with all of my stuff in it, and it all vanishes. And I just decide that I'm done for the night. I want to do something else. And, this is the kind of game where, like, yep, sometimes you're just going to be like, well, done for the night. Like, I'm not going to get tilted, but I'm going to log off and do something different.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting idea. I just am not willing to devote my gaming evening time to a thing with that much variability in it.
Yeah. It's reasonable. Like, there's a non-zero chance that you get super frustrated. I want more games with its aesthetic. Like, there's this, like, scavenged, cobbled together future sci-fi aesthetic that, like, I don't know what to compare it to.
The art style really reminds me, and this doesn't make a whole hell of a lot of sense, but God, what was the game where you were playing one of two agents and like you could rewind time? Deathloop, yeah.
Yeah.
It's got a very Deathloopy art style.
It's got a Deathloop sort of art style. It's got that kind of like NASA punk,
it's
analog tech vibe that like the Destiny promo stuff did.
It also reminds me of the movie Andromeda Strain, the way that things looked in that movie.
Yeah. Like you've got like boxy visors and like weird fiddly analog camera stuff and like big chunky wires connecting to things, and it looks really cool.
And like there's a lot of cool stuff going for it. I just wish they hadn't switched genres.
Yeah. I mean, I think that this game could be. I think that there's a version of this game where literally there's no other players. It's you doing co-op in almost exactly the same game, and it would be incredible. Like this is a game that I'm obviously not going to recommend to 6 of the 7 people here, but like there's like a game mode that I would
right.
this game.
Yeah,
if
they had a PvE server, I would absolutely play this damn game.
Yeah, like a PvE server, and amp up the AI just a touch and drop in like simulated other players with different AI types, some of whom are friendly, some of whom are not. Like that would still work. Now, I think that they would instantly find that their entire player base plays that mode. Whoops. But like,
whoops, we can't learn this lesson.
Yeah, it's vitally important that we never learn this lesson. But like, there's interesting stuff in here. My biggest takeaway is, boy, I really want more of this like near future analog punk aesthetic because it's really cool. As soon as you put that like 4-color rainbow stripes on something, you've gotten my attention. It's like catnip. Destiny did the same thing with me. That like 70s space program like aesthetic is very cool.
Time has no real meaning to me right now. I don't think we've talked about the Steam hardware announcements.
It happened since our last podcast.
Okay. I thought that was the case, but so I'm all on board with Valve releasing more hardware. And
ready for the GameCube?
I am ready for the GameCube. Yeah.
Yep. I too am ready for the GameCube.
Like I am building this thing right now with a micro PC so I can have like a living room PC that remotes in over parsec to my main gaming machine. I would have happily just snapped a GameCube right in the middle of that and called it good. I'm also way more interested in VR headsets for the first time with the advent of this new VR headset.
It is a standalone, very similar to the Quest, but not from Facebook. So there you go.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And it solves the problem that I didn't want to do, which was put up like the little monitor towers around the house.
I wonder what you give up for not having those.
Pretty significant tracking. Inside-out tracking is worse, but it's good enough.
Yeah.
But this one's supposedly much better than all the other inside-out tracking that's available. Or so the hardware reviewers say.
We'll see, I guess. As someone who just got a new headset with towers, I'm not exactly in the market for this, but
right. I'm also kind of a fan of the new Steam controller design.
I've been asking for this since the Steam Deck came out.
Yeah, because like the Steam Deck was a massive improvement over what they previously did with their Steam controller design, and this is basically like a standalone Steam Deck.
Yeah, like I'm more interested in this than I thought I would be, because I would not be sad to plug this into my TV. Bunch of games that I would otherwise only be able to play on PC, I can play downstairs with my family. Cool.
I do have a Steam Deck dock, so I can kind of already play games on PC, on the TV, but like, this is a better experience than that will be. We'll see, though. Like, I'm not really, of the things previewed, I'm really only in the market for the controller, but I think all of it is very cool.
Yeah, like, I kind of think it will mostly just work in the same way that the Steam Deck has just worked. So, I don't know, like, I think this is going to be good for the gaming ecosystem in general.
Yeah, there's stuff here that has caught my interest that I may or may not be in the market for, and am cautiously watching to see what happens when people get these things in their hands.
When non-reviewers get these things in their hands.
Yes.
Mhm.
When people I trust get these things in their hands.
I am impressed that they got these out to reviewers and like the same week they made the announcement, though.
It's been wild how wide of a carpet bomb this has happened across the reviewers. Because like people that I did not expect to get one, like Adam Savage got one. It's been interesting. It Takes a War. I think we've talked about this before, haven't we?
We did. We talked.
Did we?
About,
I think we talked about it very briefly, like maybe as one of our short topics at the end of a show, but maybe not.
Maybe just its mere existence.
Maybe, yeah, but we haven't talked in depth about it, I don't think.
It's a game that that showed up on my feed from people talking about it in the same way that they talk about like the beginner's guide. And so it caught my attention just from that kind of proximity. And it's interesting. Like, I know Kodra's played it.
I have.
It is a game that I think is interesting and well done, and probably would have hit me a lot harder 15 years ago.
It definitely is a game that would have hit me in different parts of my life much harder than it did. It, like, there's an interesting point being made, but in a lot of ways, like, one of the themes doesn't really resonate for me.
Yeah.
It's very hard to talk about around without spoilers, but there's definitely, like, it's definitely doing some interesting things. It did not make me as angry or like feel as betrayed as the beginner's guide did.
Yeah,
I had a very strong reaction to the beginner's guide. This game, I was mostly very like, it was an interesting story. It was a story I understood, but there's like a moment where it's like trying to more directly engage you. So the ostensible game is you, like, the whole facade is you are playing this 90s Counter-Strike alike built on the Half-Life engine mod. Very clearly, like, everything about that experience is what this game is showing. There is a, like, the only option you have is to, like, join a lobby of randoms, and then you join the lobby of randoms, and it's a bunch of, like, Counter-Strike bots playing a pseudo Counter-Strike game while voice chat is occurring. And the main thrust of the game is these characters who are chatting with each other. And your voice chat is disabled because it's your first game. But, like, if you are nostalgic or have memories of like playing video games while chatting with a bunch of friends and want to listen to a bunch of people with Scottish accents talking like friends to each other and dealing with their interpersonal drama while playing a pretty low-res Counter-Strike game. This is pretty cool. It's doing interesting things.
It's pretty neat, and there's an interesting little bit of anachronism for me, because it's doing everything in this very 90s style kind of pastiche. It's very, very clearly referencing Counter-Strike. Like,
I mean, it references Counter-Strike in the dialogue. Of the game.
It is both aesthetically cribbing from Counter-Strike and also directly cribbing from Counter-Strike in that it appears in the text. But there's a thing that it is predicated on a concept that makes it kind of anachronistic, or makes it extremely anachronistic, really, because there's a thing that didn't exist when Counter-Strike was out, and that's matchmaking.
Yeah, there was, did matchmaking exist? There was, I don't know, because that's not fully anachronistic. There were logs.
There were servers.
Yes. You would join servers.
You would join a server, and anyone could join the server, and, now I remember, it was like going to someone else's home. Like, you kind of had your home server that, or you didn't have a home server and you were sort of just wandering around and hoping to, meet some people who, you could hang out with.
Yeah, servers were mostly rented by clans, and if you joined that server, you were in the turf of that clan.
Yeah.
This is how I got recruited into a clan, was because I joined a server and they're like, wow, you're really good with the AK-47. Would you like to join our clan?
Yeah, and what I think is really interesting about it is that sort of social dynamic is different for kids now. And this game is built, I think this game is built to be sort of it's like a retro throwback but the intended audience is somebody who's a teenager now.
Yeah.
And I think it's really interesting to see that divide, because if you did do the whole, you could do a bunch of narrative stuff around the way the lobby servers would work and so forth, and it would be more accurate, but it wouldn't resonate. And the kind of relationship dynamics that shake out of what the game is saying are very modern, not as much the sort of, it doesn't feel like 90s era Counter-Strike clan drama.
Well, in Counter-Strike off of Half-Life instead of Counter-Strike Source, it didn't have baked-in voice chat, did it?
No. Oh, God.
Because all of those early 90s games, I remember joining a TeamSpeak server or a, Ventrilo server.
Mm-hmm.
And that was part of what made it so awkward is if you joined a server for a clan that wasn't your clan, you probably didn't have the keys to the server, so you were just in text chat.
Yeah.
And honestly, some of those weren't even TeamSpeak Ventrilo. They were Roger Wilco. Because that's what we used prior to TeamSpeak being a thing. And then there was Microsoft something or other that was a voice chat that we used as well prior to chat servers existing commonly. I remember I had to buy a piece of physical hardware to get access to the Microsoft chat server thing so that I could chat with people in my clan.
Yeah.
So I am playing my second character of the league in Path of Exile, and I am revisiting a character that I made during the short-lived Pox League sometime during the Year of Settlers.
Is this you're familiarizing yourself with a different character?
So I had made a character that was a trickster that was playing Ice Trap of Hollowness, which is basically like scaling up the AoE of the traps, and it throws like 4 or 5 at a time and just blankets the screen in traps. And you use a specific belt called Sunblast.
Does this use Sunblast?
Yeah, this uses Sunblast, which means your traps aren't triggered, but you're also scaling down the duration of your traps so that they pop on their own quickly. And you're just blanketing the screen with 14 traps at a time, and it's exploding and everything is white. And it was played on a Trickster for the defensive benefits of playing a Trickster. And I kind of wanted to revisit the character because I really liked it, and I didn't take it super far because it was a short-lived league. But I am playing it on an Elementalist. And there's a lot of things that are happening with Elementalist that are great, in that you get to run around with 4 golems, and those 4 golems provide you with some very powerful aura buffs that replace you running other auras. Also, I happen to get a 50 div ring from the tree, which is a Foulborn version of Barracks Respite that has ignited enemies explode, dealing 5% of their health, and shocked enemies explode, dealing 5% of their health. And I did not realize that they both proc at exactly the same time if you were always shocking and you were always igniting. And that's one of the things that you can do with an Elementalist, is make it so that my frost damage from my ice traps are also always shocking and always igniting. So I'm running Shaper of Storms and Shaper of Flames, and then the Golem node, and then the Bastion of Elements just for a little bit of a defensive buff. But like, I'm not an expert at POB, but just the base pull in POB shows me dealing like 5.5 million damage. And I don't know that that's even accurate because most of these traps are overlapping. And that doesn't it has no way of calculating the explodes. So essentially every time something dies, it's dealing 10% of whatever its health was in damage from 2 separate explosions. So yeah, like, and I'm also igniting and shocking, which is lowering or like making them take more damage. So yeah, like this is a pretty wild little build. I am running, like I've done some nonsense with gems or jewels where I'm using the Unnatural Instinct to pick up all the Herald buff nodes and various other good stuff in that same general area. That's the one where any nodes that you have actually spec'd in that area, the small nodes, don't count for anything, but all of the small nodes in the realm of the jewel actually just get given to you. So you kind of want to path into an area where there's some useful stuff that you want, and then that one jewel gives you all that stuff. And I'm also using a Light of Meaning, which basically adds 6% increased cold damage to everything in the radius. And there's a whole bunch of nodes in a specific area that I want anyway. Stacking power charges, and I'm working on getting all of the stuff to deal more damage based on power charges up and running. I tried a couple of different things. I was running the weird shield that blinds everything, thinking that would be an excellent defensive layer, but it didn't really work out that well. So I'm running a Jaws of Agony as my shield, which just does a bunch of extra trap damage. And also gives me a power charge 20% chance to get a power charge when I throw a trap.
So you're at max power charges all the time.
Yeah, so I'm at max power charges all the time without any issue. So yeah, like it's kind of a stupidly powerful build. I got another Foulborn item, which is some weird wand that I've never seen before that has like a lot of flat cold damage on it, and gain a power charge when killing a frenzied enemy or frozen enemy, extra cold exposure inflict, 29 mana or 23 mana on killing a frozen enemy, but also the more important thing, just +4 to all levels of cold gems. So my Ice Trap of Hollowness is always at level 28, because I'm also running a Dragonflight or Dragonfang's Flight Amulet, which is giving it an additional +3. So yeah, like it's a stupid build. I did not realize how much of its success was the double explode ring until I took off the double explode ring, and just out of curiosity, and it's still a functional build, but that double pops is really doing a lot. So I'll be interested to see if that exists after this league.
Battleborn Unique's kind of an interesting concept.
Yeah, like, so
some of them are funnier than others.
The meme Mageblood is my favorite. So Mageblood has the text of leftmost number of flasks are always applied, essentially. The meme Mageblood Foulborn version is rightmost flasks are always
really
applied.
Doesn't matter. Other than it makes you, if you have a health flask, now you have to bind it to a different button.
Yeah, you have to bind it to your mana potion key. Yeah. Or at least the one I always have a mana potion on if I'm running a mana potion. Yeah, like it's silly. Other things are like just really interesting ways that it changes builds. Yeah, it's like the whole quote unquote Krangle concept, but like in useful ways, because all of them are bespoke changes to the items. They're not random. The other thing that's really interesting is the buying power of chaos in this league. I don't know if I've ever played in a league where divines were less than 120 chaos. Right now, divines are going for just barely over 100 chaos, which is created some external pressure on items to where basically everything's pretty cheap. Like when you make it easier for people to sell things, a lot more items show up on the market.
Prices fall.
Shocking.
I should see what a 6-link Cloak of Flame is going to run me.
Not much. Probably, I mean, it probably still is like 2 div, but Black Morrigans are really cheap. You could pick up a Black Morrigan for 50 chaos and just 6-link your item that way. That's how I've made 6 links this league so far, is since you can itemize beasts for free now, people are just selling beasts left and right. They're way cheaper than they ever used to be. I mean, because it used to be that it cost you at least 1 chaos to buy the item that would itemize a beast. But since you can do it for free, everyone's just selling everything. I still think the Omen of Connections is stupidly expensive just because it's rare. But yeah, Black Morrigan is the way to make your 6 links. Oh, 6-link Cloak of Flame, 115 chaos. So even those have come down significantly.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Gunfire Reborn. That's a game I've not thought about in a bit.
I mean, it's a game that continues to have things released for it.
They really just
I
don't
haven't played this game in some time. For those who are not familiar, this is a roguelike, mostly first-person shooter. There are a very wide variety of weapons. There's a lot more emphasis on shooter than something like Risk of Rain 2. And also the actual structure of run consists of like a number of fairly linear rooms. So it's very straightforward. I am not that good at it. A thing they keep doing is they keep adding characters. Like, the thing they've mostly been doing is adding DLC characters over time.
Oh, wow. Yeah, there are a bunch of new ones.
I've seen a lot of people upset about this, saying that the new characters are actually stronger and the game's just played pay to win now. But
I mean,
my opinion is the new characters have really interesting playstyles and give some variety to the game initially.
Yes.
Whereas this had the same problem Risk of Rain 1 did, where if you didn't like the starting character that much, it was very hard to get into.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoy it. Like, I picked up another character, and it was like transformative for me. I was like, oh, okay, this game is actually really fun.
Yeah, that's basically been my experience. Like, this game is really fun. It has very interesting systems, and now that I can play a character other than the starting character, I'm significantly more interested in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember super liking that game, but liking it a lot more once I unlocked other characters. So I haven't touched it in a while. I'll have to go and check out all the new stuff.
Like, I know it's recent. I know the Tiger just came out like a month or so ago, and that's probably my current favorite character, even though I question his abilities are ask you to pick one because they're not very synergistic with each other, and they both eat from the same resource, but they're both also really strong, so you can kind of make a build with one or the other. Also, it is kind of funny, giving me shades of being Brick in the Borderlands 2 days. Just having a character that is, or not Brick, not Borderlands 2. I guess Brick was Borderlands 1. Having a definitely melee character in this definitely first-person shooter game.
I mean, for me, that was Zero. Zero was definitely a melee character in Borderlands 2.
It's been kind of an incredible year for roguelikes. I haven't picked up Shape of Dreams, but I have some friends who have and are trying to get me into it, and that's a thing I'm taking a look at, in addition to, Hades.
Yep. I mean, I guess in some ways you might count Blueprints as a... guess it's not roguelike, but it's weird. It's got randomness baked into its core feature. That means it's roguelike, right?
Cough, cough.
You have a series of runs in which some are successful and some are not, and you get to define success how you wish. I guess normally success is you get to a certain point.
Yeah, I'm thinking about my. Oh god, I can always forget the name of this. I forget the name of that game. You play as like a weird void guy.
Dead Cells?
Dead Cells, yeah.
Yeah, Dead Cells.
I had a lot of Dead Cells runs that I would describe as, maybe I'll get to the end, but I've got other things I'm doing.
I mean, speaking of them, they are also, like, they put out a 1-year anniversary patch for it's not called Windsurf. What's it actually called? Windblown.
Oh, yeah. I'm not very good at that game. It is
No,
fun.
that game is hard.
What is Winter Burrow?
So Steam Animal Fest is ongoing right now, and will be for a day or two when the podcast comes out. And I ran across this game called Winter Burrow that looked kind of charming. And so earlier this year I played Grimshire, which is also in the sale, and I do recommend it, but can be a little stressful, overwhelming, for farming life sim sort of game. And this one feels like it's in a little bit of a similar vein, but with less stress, less time pressure, from what I can tell. So you are a little mouse, and your family moved you to the city to try to get a better life, and that didn't work out so great. So you're moving back to your family's burrow, which has become a shambles while everyone was gone, and you're trying to survive in the wintertime, and you battle the bugs that are around and gather supplies and sit in your chair and knit so that you have warm clothes. And it seems like a charming little game. I haven't gotten super far into it, but I love the art style. It's a combination of sort of potentially sad but also cozy, and has a little bit of a story to it, so I'm kind of curious to see how that unfolds. But I'm enjoying sort of exploring the area around my burrow and upgrading things in my burrow, and occasionally going out and murdering some bugs before they murder me. So I may have more to say about this later. I don't know, we'll see. But I wanted to give it a mention because it is very pretty and maybe up some folks' alley. And so far, I don't regret buying it, and I'm interested to see where it goes. But yeah, also Grimshire is on a little bit of a sale, and I do recommend it if you are okay with the time stress. They definitely added some patches that gave you more options where that's concerned.
Oh, that's cool.
And I think they also added more different types of playable characters, which is also cool.
Gunfire Reborn is also in the Animal Fest.
I was noticing that.
Might as well do a clean sweep. What is Ambrosia Sky?
Ambrosia Sky is a new indie ImSim mystery game. I will admit to promoting a friend of mine who worked on it. But you play as a scientist going to investigate some tragedy at a space station in the future, and it's got very really hesitant to say Deus Ex vibes, but immersive sims have a particular thing going on where you're kind of working your way through spaces in interesting ways and finding more about those spaces through, essentially voyeurism, looking through paperwork and people's emails and piecing together what's happened in a space through the actual movement through the space and the communications and text and artifacts that you find throughout this. And this game is interesting because it's doing all of it without combat. And instead, what you're doing is basically using your technology, a chemical sprayer, at least to start, to basically clear out a deadly fungus, which also is clogging up a lot of things. So to get around and get access to places, you're spraying down, spraying things down with a chemical sprayer. You've got some other interesting tools like a grappling hook, but yeah, it's neat. It's got a cool, very neon art style. I don't really know how to describe the art style. It's not quite cell shaded, but it's got it's got the vibrancy and the saturation turned up a little bit more than you might expect. And it gives us this very striking, you're moving through space in a kind of weird future sort of way. I played a little bit. I really enjoy it. They've got a bunch of different characters. The characters are interesting sort of right out the gate. There's an interesting story that you're kind of piecing together at the same time. I've enjoyed seeing. Part of it is we've been playing a bunch of Power Wash Simulator, and so there's some overlap, but in interesting ways. So that's also fun. And also just I think part of the other thing that I like it's very, very indie game, and usually you have big studios doing expensive immersive sims, and this is not that. And I think it's interesting to see some interesting takes on it.
Yeah, other people trying the immersive sim.
Yeah, because you don't need to do a full RPG progression and complicated combat and all of this other stuff to hit the essential beats of the genre. And I feel this is almost a more pure version of that.
It is interesting because I was trying to figure out okay, so the whole idea of walking around and learning about what goes on is also kind of your Gone Home style of gameplay could be how you describe that.
Yeah, it's a little bit more interactive than Gone Home. You have actually you have legitimate that's what I'm looking for. You have legitimate puzzle mechanics and tools more than open doors, turn on light switches. There's a little bit more I don't know, more puzzle solving involved.
Got it.
But it's got a very similar kind of vibe to it. And I'm interested in piecing together more of what happens. It doesn't take very long for me to be ooh, what's going on here?
Anybody have any short topics before we wrap things up?
Dispatch, in my opinion, stuck the landing. It is a fantastic game from start to finish.
Oh,
And
dispatch is...
whole-
Sorry.
And the whole thing is out now. So if you've been waiting for that, there you go.
Dispatch is coming. We're going to say, I haven't finished it yet, but Dispatch is coming real close to bumping Blueprints off my Games of the Year list.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be on my Games of the Year list. And I hope a season 2 happens because I love all these characters. And B, this level of quality on this makes me extra hyped for Wolf Among Us 2.
Oh, they're doing that, aren't they?
Yes, and Ad Hoc is doing the narrative and cinematics for it.
Yes. Very excited about that.
I wonder if Wolf Among Us is in this animals event. It's technically an animal game. No, it doesn't look like it is. It's also only $15. If you haven't played it, play it. It's good.
It's really good.
Wrapped Delicious in Dungeon / Dungeon Cinchi this week. That is a delightful show. You should watch it. I mean, if you've ever wanted a, show about cooking food in dungeons, it is definitely a thing you should watch.
I keep meaning to watch it. It's been on my list for a while.
Like, it starts off super cute. It gets a little dark.
Yeah,
but
it's another one of those where I'm like, I'm not sure if this is something I should watch in front of my kid, so...
the first...
It's hard to know.
5-6 episodes, sure, it's fine. There's some dark stuff about the dungeon, but the cast of characters is delightful.
Super fun.
Well, I think that's a show. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and we will see you again next week. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
See you.